Are y'all tired of talking about a Venus and Scorpio? Venus and Scorpio. This placement is so intense. I mean, how many times is it going to be said? Everybody says it on every video. This intensity, this mystery, this magnetism. And they're absolutely correct, because that is like, those are like the strongest words to describe this placement. Venus and Scorpio. When it comes to love, this love is so deep. This love is so strong that it can be possessive. It can be obsessive. So when we get into the planet of Venus, this is the planet of beauty, art, money, pleasure, connections, love. It's anything that brings you pleasure and brings you joy. And when you put Scorpio here, when you put a fixed water sign here that is very emotional, the things that it loves, the things that it gravitates towards, is deep. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, it could be this bottle of tea. Like, it could be this bottle of tea. If the Scorpio Venus has an emotional connection with this bottle of tea, if the Venus and Scorpio has a memory that connects them with this bottle of tea, emotionally, if they had an emotional experience surrounding a bottle of tea that is either beautiful or transformational, this bottle of tea, or tea in general will have a very significant role in how they go about handling tea or using tea. So it's very deep. So you have to imagine, when it comes to a person, when it comes to love, when it comes to a Venus and Scorpio connecting themselves with someone else and not a bottle of tea, this can be thrown out. This is not of flesh. This is not spiritual. This does not have depth outside of being tea. And although they'll have an emotional connection with this tea, when it comes to them having emotional connections with humans, in particular in love connections, the Venus in Scorpio can become obsessive and possessive, because they know that they can go and get another bottle of tea. They know that they can go to the store and just buy another bottle of tea. It's going to taste the same. It's going to have the same ingredients. It's going to do that. But when it comes to connecting with a person, the Venus in Scorpio can get very attached and very fixed on their subject, on their love partner. They can become very, very interested in a person, to the point to where that's all they see and that's all they want to see. And so a Venus in Scorpio can be extremely possessive, because they can't go to the store and just get another person or get another of that person. And this is just human nature. But when you have your Venus and Scorpio, this is just an intensified version of the feeling of not being able to replace someone. So the Venus and Scorpio can become very obsessive and possessive over their love partner. And so the Venus and Scorpio can be very secretive when it comes to their love life with others. Only their closest friends and family, and sometimes not even them, will know about the depths of their relationships and love connections. So the Venus and Scorpio can really take such interest in their love partner that they could want to know every little thing about their partner and give very little information about themselves. Like, this can make the Venus and Scorpio very mysterious, to others and to their love partner. Their love partner could feel like the Venus and Scorpio is withholding information. It's not sharing all of their details while they're sharing all of theirs and all of their thoughts and emotions. The Venus and Scorpio could feel like they are doing that, but in actuality, the Venus and Scorpio could not be sharing. They could just be observing. They could be listening, and the Venus and Scorpio could feel as though, or think that is a way of them being involved in the relationship and connecting, but in reality, the Venus and Scorpio can just be the person who's listening to what the other person is saying. And so once the Venus and Scorpio realizes this, that they too have to open up in order to involve themselves in the relationship, and in order for them to get to know their partner, and for their partner to actually get to know them, they have to open up. And so opening up about themselves can be a very, very scary thing for the Venus and Scorpio, because the Venus and Scorpio likes to have mystery. They enjoy it. It's just something that they enjoy. They're comfortable being in the dark. They're comfortable not revealing everything about themselves when it comes to anything, especially when it comes to love. So, but Venus and Scorpio, in order to have a genuine love connection, in order to actually make a connection, you have to connect. And so when it comes to connecting, you have to communicate, and you have to also open up and share things about yourself, and so someone can actually get to know you. So having a Venus and Scorpio, you can not realize that you're also being secretive, like you're hiding yourself. Like while you're hiding all of this information about you, when you do that, you're hiding who you are. You're hiding yourself. You're hiding your identity. You're hiding your personality. No one is able to just see that based off of you not speaking or you not expressing yourself. So the Venus and Scorpio can, like I said in my previous video, they can have an artistic or creative outlet when it comes to expressing themselves. But it's important, Venus and Scorpio, that you learn to express yourself verbally. You learn to be assertive in, the things that you want, the things that you don't like, the things that you do like, the things that you enjoy. Because not everyone, if you want to make connections, not everyone is going to be able to grasp certain things through your art form. And although that would be a perfect world for Venus and Scorpio, is to just share your artwork or share your creative way of doing things, and someone just, voila, okay, I understand them now. That's not how it works. You have to, at some point, you have to be open, and you have to talk about it, and you have to be vulnerable. And I know you're very good at being that person that sits with someone else who is being vulnerable, but you can have a difficult time sitting with yourself in those moments of you being vulnerable, afraid of what could happen as a Venus and Scorpio, because the darkness, you know about the things that could go wrong, that's automatically in your innate, with you being in the dark and you being hidden, you hiding yourself, and you hiding, important and amazing things about yourself. You're not revealing yourself. So you understand the darkness because you sit in it and you watch, you observe things. So you're able to see, something's not right with that. Something's not right with that, because you have the capacity to do so. The reason why you have the capacity to do so is because you're not inserting yourself into that. You're observing. You're like the watchman. You're like the watchwoman, whatever you want to call it. You're like, it's like you're in a bubble, and because you're in this bubble, you can see the good, the bad, the ugly all around you, but you're afraid to come out of the bubble because you can see it all. It's like you see it all. So one thing I don't like is when people say like Scorpio is like dark and mysterious. Yes, they are, but Scorpio is light too. Just like with Leo being ruled by the sun. In order to be the sun, there has to be darkness. So with Scorpio, my opinion, in order to be dark, you have to have light too. So Scorpio not only sees the dark, they also sees the light parts of things, but the darkness is what people seem to not talk about and this and that. So when you're in a relationship, Venus and Scorpio, you will find pleasure in having conversations with your partner about the darker things, the taboo things. You will, you'll be able to explore those types of things in a relationship, in a connection, because you can be very private. So you may not share a lot of personal details about yourself because you automatically withhold information. You withhold the dark side and the light side. So when people get to talking about the light things and all of that, and that's all you hear, you'll have the urge to dive into the darker things because you don't hear it all the time. So in your relationships, when you get close to someone, when you do finally open up, the Venus in Scorpio will talk about a lot of darker topics, you know, about cults and the darker side behind how the world works. So this is what I love about Venus in Scorpio. Well, I am a Venus in Scorpio, so I mean, I enjoy, you know, those types of topics. But I think it's really, really a beautiful thing I think it's a beautiful thing when the Venus in Scorpio is able to connect in love and in a partnership, or just romance, dating, whatever, when they're able to actually connect with someone, because it means that the Venus in Scorpio is stepping outside of their comfort zone, really. And like I said, Scorpio is very strong in a way of being there for others, but in order for Scorpio Venus to be open to sharing themselves, the good and the darker things, the light and the darker things, is to not be afraid to come out of that bubble. Even though you see all of those things, you see everything that could go wrong, but you also see everything that could go right, but you just don't want to put yourself in a situation to where something could go wrong. So when you're actually making connections, that means you're stepping outside of that bubble that makes you feel like, wow, okay, if I step out, I see all this stuff going on. I see everything that could go wrong in this relationship, in this love connection, but I'm going to still do it because it is some things over here that could go right. So that means you're being optimistic, and that means that you're taking a risk. And Scorpio, Venus and Scorpio, there will always be a risk when it comes to love. There will always be a risk when it comes to connecting yourself with anything. So it's just you getting over that fear, you know, of those things happening to you. They can, they will, they may, and they may not. So the Venus in Scorpio can be very romantic and very, very deep in the details of their love connections, because they can become so obsessive with their partners that they can know pretty much everything about their partners, because they've taken the time to listen, to observe, and to understand. So the Venus in Scorpio can be very emotionally intelligent and know what their partner needs, how their partner needs it, and why, because they understand the emotion behind that need and how that emotion affects their partner in a positive or negative way. So it's very interesting. So you all, if you all would like more videos on the Venus and Scorpio placement, I love chatting about, you know, this topic. It's very interesting, and I love to share my knowledge and my experiences with you all so that we can all learn together and grow together as a collective. So you guys, this is the Sagittarian Goddess, and I will see you all in the next video.